If you have just gotten into medical school or you're an aspiring medical student out there, then this video is for you. Medical school can be overwhelming and challenging if you just jump straight into it without prior knowledge, prior information. In this video, I'm going to be dropping some tips, some tricks, and some advice for you on how you can navigate your way through medical school. If you are new to this channel and you've not seen my face before, welcome. My name is Moni and I am a fifth-year medical student here in Nigeria. I film medicine and lifestyle content, so if that is something you're interested in, do not hesitate to subscribe. Before we get into these tips, I do want to say congratulations to every single person that has gotten admission into medical school. And if you are still hoping and expecting to get admission, I hope and pray that your expectations will be met. So without further ado, let's get into this video. The first tip I think is very important for you to know, and I just want us to rip the band-aid off, is just because you were the best student in your secondary school does not guarantee you success in medical school. I know that sounds kind of controversial and a hard pill to swallow, because it seems like a lot of the people you see in medical school are people that are very intelligent. You are not wrong for that, because being an intelligent student will get you into medical school. I mean, nobody is going to give someone who doesn't have good grades admission into medical school. So if you've gotten into medical school, there is a high chance that you got 5, 6 A's, or you were the best among your peers in secondary school. But to think that just because you are intelligent means that you will pass or you will succeed in medical school is a lie. I'm not trying to downplay your intelligence or undermine your capacity intellectually, but all I'm saying is that intelligence in medical school is not enough. Intelligence will get you into medical school, but hard work, discipline, and dedication is what will sustain you throughout your journey in medical school. The thing about medical school that you need to know is that there is a large amount of content that you are going to be learning right from your preclinical years till your 600 level. All of these materials are coming to you per lecture. This large amount of information is coming to you, and instead of putting in the work, you then tell yourself that, oh, maybe I was the first position in secondary school now, like nobody could beat me, and you rely on that, and then you choose to rely on your intelligence, and you don't put in the work, you don't put in the effort, because medical school requires a lot of effort. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it for you. You get into medical school, have that mental reset in your brain that when you are coming here, you are here to put in a lot of work, because it is that hard work plus your intelligence that will help you through, that will sustain you, and that is what will guarantee you success throughout your medical school journey. The second tip that I will give is learn how to study. I'm sorry to break it to you, but some of the study methods you've used in secondary school or study habits you've even been doing in secondary school might not work for you here in medical school. Medical school is a completely different ball game. You have different courses, and different courses require them to be studied in different ways. So the same method you use to study anatomy, let's say, may not be the same method you need to study biochemistry, which is why you have to learn how to study. Find new ways of studying these different courses that work for you. Explore different methods of studying until you find what works for you. Most importantly, find study methods that enable you to do something called active recall and spaced repetition. And this is where you are able to consistently recall topics that you've read previously. This is a method that will really help you in medical school. So whilst you are trying to learn methods of studying, try to adapt methods that will help you in the long run and will also help you to do active recall. There are so many methods of studying out there. Some people use flashcards, some people still take notes, some people do mind mapping and all of that. All I would advise you is watch videos on how to study, explore those methods and see what works for you, and devise your own method of studying. The next tip I have for you is to develop the skill called time management. With the overwhelming demands of medical school, it can almost feel like you don't have time for any other thing. But I do believe that if you want to survive in medical school, you should master the art of time management. It is with this skill of time management that you'll be able to allocate time to the things that matter to you. If you can take charge of your time, you can take charge of your life. Simple habits such as making to-do lists, time blocking your tasks, understanding what is a priority within different seasons of your life in medical school and what's not. Once you can master habits like this, These are the key things that will help you to channel your energy into the things that are important, practicing part-time in medical school, and whilst also making time for other things that matter to you. If you really want to master the art of time management, you have to be intentional about it throughout your medical school. So you cannot just be moving on vibes. If you really want to be efficient with your time, you have to make intentional steps, intentional efforts every single day. The next tip that I have, which I think is very important, is don't be in a rush to take up roles or responsibilities once you get into medical school. Responsibilities could look like leadership position in associations with your school association or your department association. It could also be other things like joining a department, maybe in your church. You could even be starting a business or starting a side hustle, whatever your other plans are for yourself, aside from pursuing your medical degree. These are responsibilities that I am referring to. Medical school demands that you give a lot of your time and attention to studies, and so because of that, it could almost seem like you don't have time to do other things that matter to you. Am I here to discourage you from joining departments or joining whatever thing you want to do? No, I'm not here to discourage you. Is it possible to balance all of these responsibilities with medical school? Yes, it is very possible. But if it is not done wisely, it can get out of control. Before you take up responsibilities outside of medical school, I do think you should check in with yourself and ask yourself certain questions like, how much time would this thing that I'm trying to pursue really demand? How can I show up effectively in my academics and with this thing in a way that doesn't make me to burn out? If you're just starting at medical school, I would advise you to just take a step back and observe. Look at how much time those things demand and ask yourself if it is possible for you to show up for them while showing up for yourself in your academics. If it looks like you cannot show up for these things at this period in time, it is fine. If you have to wait to maybe 200, 300, or maybe 400 level before you can now take up some of these responsibilities, it is okay. You don't have to just jump in and start joining this and joining this and joining that. Take your time. Observe first, look in within yourself so that you don't overwhelm yourself quickly. The next tip I have for you is your seniors are your greatest assets in medical school. Whatever level you are at, someone has been in that level and has crossed that level. So they can tell you what to expect, what to do in that level, how to study for a certain lecturer, how to prepare for certain tests and exams. Your seniors could even help you with resources, past questions, textbooks and whatnot. Just everything that you need to succeed in medical school. Your seniors are there for you. They have the information and resources. So it is best to not just walk through medical school alone. The next tip I have for you is you are running your own race. You are not in competition with anybody. I know you've probably heard people say stuff like, oh, there's medical school, there's a lot of competition, everybody's competing with each other and all of that. But the reality is that in medical school, we are not competing with anybody. Everybody who is in medical school has the same goal, which is to become a doctor. So there's no competition for who is going to be a doctor first before anybody, because at the end of the day, you're going to graduate at the same time. You're all going to become doctors at the same time. Don't allow anybody around you try to intimidate you. Something that is so common, especially for people that just go into medical school, is the fact that a lot of people like to brag on the amount of hours they've spent in studying. So don't let anybody's journey intimidate you, but rather you can be inspired by somebody, but don't be intimidated by anybody. Like I've said, you are running your own race, you are running your own path. Do what works for you. As long as you can show up consistently and effectively, that is what matters. My next tip would be that YouTube is your best friend. YouTube is your best friend. Once you get into medical school, there's a lot of very complex concepts that you might encounter, from anatomy to physiology to biochemistry. Anything that seems strange to you, a lot of things are going to seem strange to you, especially because you're encountering them for the first time. But they shouldn't overwhelm you, because there are thousands of videos on YouTube that you can just search up. And there are so many YouTube videos out there that explain things in detail, sometimes even more detailed than the lecturers. So whenever you find studying overwhelming, just go to YouTube. If you want me to film a detailed video on YouTube channels that you can watch for different courses, then comment down below and I will make a detailed video about it for you guys. Next tip will be that whenever medical school gets challenging, remember your why. I know at this point you've just gotten into medical school, so you are very excited. Can't wait to start going in. But one thing that I have to say is that medical school is a very, very challenging place. There will be days where you might be doubting yourself. You might have days where you are doubting your capacity, doubting your intelligence. There may be days where you'll be doubting if you will even be able to get through that stage or that level. But it is your why that will keep you going, that will keep you pushing, and that will keep you resilient throughout this journey, despite whatever challenges you might encounter. Another thing I do want to add regarding this tip is that it helps if you actually want to be in medical school as opposed to being forced to choosing medical school, because if you make the decision for yourself, you know why you made the decision, and it's an inherent decision, you are not coerced into it, and so that will for yourself is what will keep you going. But if you are trying to live out somebody else's dream, if you are trying to do something that you don't really want to do, it's going to be very hard to push through it. It's going to be very hard to show up consistently despite what you will face. So make sure that you are in medical school for yourself and not for someone else. My next tip, especially for students that have just gotten into medical school, would be start studying early. Okay, start studying early. And this tip is very important, even if you're not in medical school, for anybody who is in university. Once you get into university, it's very important that you start studying early, because if you start studying early, once it is exam season, you are not stressed, you are not under pressure. Once it's exam season, because you've been studying, all of that effort has compounded to this period called examination, whereby you are more in a relaxed state and you are doing more of revision than learning something for the first time. If you start studying early, the materials that you have read, they stick in your head longer. But if you leave the materials that you have to read till exam time, one, you are anxious, you are stressed, you don't know what to do, and then you are trying to just cram and cram and cram. And cramming, I mean, cramming works for some people, but majority of the times, whatever you cram doesn't necessarily stick, especially when you are doing it under anxiety and stress. So, in order to just eliminate the factor of stress, start studying early, especially as a medical student where you have an endless amount of material to study every single day. You are showing up for lectures every single day. By the time it's time for a test or exam, you are not trying to open that thing for the first time, especially if that concept is something that is new to you. You don't want to start studying for the first time when it's a week to your test or a week to your examinations, because that cramming, it may fumble for you once exams are close. If you're the kind of person to put out studying or to leave studying to the last minute in secondary school and it worked for you, well, that method will not work for you here in medical school. You have to start studying early. And the last and final tip that I have for you is make time to rest and recharge. I'm a fifth year medical student and I low-key still struggle with, getting rest for myself. Resting is so important because you cannot keep pouring out and pouring out and pouring out into your school and not giving yourself time to step back, because it is when you are able to rest that you are able to continually show up for yourself in school. If you do not make out time to rest when your body is demanding rest from you, your body is going to take that rest from you by force when you need to be productive. It's important that you do not keep pouring from an empty cup. So you have to intentionally make out time to rest. Look for things outside of school that you can do to de-stress. This could be doing sports every once or twice a week. This could be looking for novels to read. That's my personal favorite. Looking for non-academic books to read. This could be hanging out with your friends maybe once a week. This could be watching a movie or even just sleeping. Another thing I do want to mention is that it is so important to eat. Eating is so important. I know that a lot of medical students, when they get into medical school, they kind of forget about food. It is so important to eat whilst you are studying, because again, you are burning so much energy while you are reading. Eating once a day is not a flex in medical school, okay? Feeding your body is so important because you can't pour from an empty cup, like I said. Resting is a way of pouring into yourself. So is feeding your body. It is so important to feed your body and keep your body energized and nourished. Keep your mind energized and also keeping your brain functioning well while nourishing it. So that is going to help you to show up consistently and keep going in medical school. And whilst I'm at it, I am going to emphasize on eating actually healthy foods and not just focusing on snacks. Try to eat whole foods, try to eat fruits and vegetables, try to eat fibers, try to eat things that will actually nourish and energize your body. Okay, so those are my tips that I have for you in this video. If you found these tips helpful, please do not hesitate to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you know anyone that has just gotten into medical school, anyone that is aspiring to be a medical student, please share this video with them because I think they will find it very helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.